The adoptive and very estranged father of George Knight, Colin Salmon, left his son's new partner, Nicola Mitchell, Laura Doddington, horrified when she followed a trail of missed calls to his hospital bed, a stark contrast from the prison we last saw him in. While she made no bones about the fact that George would want nothing to do with him, standing firmly beside her boyfriend, she was rocked all over again when he revealed that he was dying. Eddie's first stint in Walford brought a number of horrifying secrets to light, destroying everything George believed he knew about his childhood, while unearthing painful truths about his true lineage and what had happened to his biological parents. Ahead of the confirmed reunion between George and Eddie, let's revisit who he is, why he was incarcerated and how things were left between them, shall we? Who is Eddie Knight? Eddie arrived on New Year's Day 2024, alongside wife Gloria Elizabeth Council, as George's adoptive parents. George was soon heartbroken to learn that they had been previously paid to adopt him in a process known as child farming. With the aid of ex-wife Cindy Beale, Michelle Collins, George learned that he was, in fact, African, and not Jamaican as he previously believed and had been purchased from an African family. Though his mum and dad opened up about certain aspects of his past, it was incredibly clear that they were hiding much more. Eddie later reappeared in Walford, eager to tell his son about an award he had won for championing diversity in boxing, with George invited to a party that would celebrate his dad's success. He was further elated later, when Eddie made an emotive speech about his pride in his son, expressing to then-wife Elaine Peacock, Harriet Thorpe, that he'd finally realized that his dad truly loved him. Later though, George learned that Eddie was merely priming him to stand as a witness for him after he'd been charged with a racially motivated murder, in which he and his racist friends beat George's biological father to death, before stuffing his dismembered remains into a suitcase, with a dog walker later discovering them by a canal, an attack actually witnessed by a young George. Why is Eddie Knight in prison? Though both Eddie and Gloria pleaded with George to stand up for his dad, daughter Gina Knight, Francesca Henry, pleaded with her dad to see the truth, having been victim of a number of microaggressions at the hands of her grandfather. George did take the stand in court, testifying that his dad is in fact a violent racist monster and despite the pleadings of Gloria, ensured that he was sent down for his crime. Eddie's final act displayed his unwavering cruelty, when from his prison cell, he banned George from attending Gloria's funeral, after she perished from a heart attack. What's next for George and Eddie? With it confirmed in spoilers and pictures, George will learn of his dad's condition when he discovers a parking ticket in Nicola's possessions, and she's forced to reveal all about Eddie's reappearance. He visits his estranged parent, but when Gina and George's brother, Kojo Asare, Deo Koliosho, discover what's happened, they intervene with their own thoughts. With their words ringing in his ears, George heads back to the hospital. What will he have to say to Eddie now? In the ever-turbulent world of EastEnders, few characters arrive without baggage, but Eddie Knight brings with him a past so heavy it practically reshapes the present. He isn't just another face in Albert Square. He's a man defined by secrets, regret, and a prison sentence that speaks volumes before he even says a word. Who is Eddie Knight? Eddie Knight is introduced as the estranged father of George Knight, a man whose name alone stirs tension and unanswered questions. Played by Christopher Fairbank, Eddie carries a quiet intensity. His presence is less about loud drama and more about the slow, unsettling drip of truth coming to the surface. At first glance, Eddie appears like many older EastEnders figures, hardened, guarded, and shaped by a difficult life. But there's something colder beneath that exterior. His relationship with George is fractured, filled with years of absence, emotional distance, and a past that neither of them can fully escape. Why is Eddie Knight in prison? Eddie's imprisonment isn't just a plot device. It's the key to understanding who he really is. He was jailed for racially motivated violence, a revelation that lands like a bombshell. This wasn't a minor offense or a misunderstanding. It was a hate crime that exposed deeply ingrained prejudice. The crime involved a brutal attack that left lasting consequences, not only for the victim but for Eddie's own family. The story becomes especially powerful. George Knight, Eddie's son, is a black man who was adopted into Eddie's family as a child. The emotional weight of that fact colliding with Eddie's racist past creates one of the most uncomfortable and compelling dynamics in the show. Eddie didn't just commit a crime. He betrayed the very idea of family. The emotional fallout. When Eddie re-enters the narrative, it's not about redemption in the traditional sense. There's no easy forgiveness waiting for him. Instead, his presence forces George to confront painful truths about his upbringing. Was he ever truly accepted? Did Eddie see him as a son, or as something else entirely? These questions ripple through every interaction. Eddie, for his part, doesn't come in shouting apologies. He's defensive, sometimes dismissive, and often unwilling to fully acknowledge the depth of his wrongdoing. That makes him more realistic, and far more unsettling. A character built on conflict. What makes Eddie Knight stand out in EastEnders is that he isn't written to be liked. He's written to challenge. He represents generational prejudice. He embodies unresolved guilt. He forces other characters to confront uncomfortable realities. And yet, there are fleeting moments, small cracks in his hardened exterior, where you glimpse something human. Not necessarily good, but human. That complexity is what keeps viewers watching. Why his story matters. Eddie's storyline goes beyond typical soap drama. It taps into real-world issues: racism, family trauma, and the long shadow of past actions. His prison sentence isn't just backstory. It's a symbol of consequences that don't end when someone serves their time. Because in Albert Square, the past never stays buried. Eddie Knight may have walked out of prison, but he walked straight into a different kind of sentence. One where every relationship is strained, every truth is questioned, and every moment is haunted by what he did. And in classic EastEnders fashion, the real punishment isn't just what happened behind bars. It's everything that comes after. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to EastEnders Spoilers Official.